This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Kerstin Cable. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Well, I'm doing really good considering over here in England it's overcast, grey January morning.
Tell me the temperature. I'm intrigued by the temperatures.
I don't know. I have to ask my phone. 8 degrees.
All right.
8. It's not too bad.
Yeah,
no,
sounds
England
good.
England doesn't get so cold.
Like the Canadians, I spoke to someone yesterday. They were celebrating that it moved from minus 15 to 1 degree.
Oh, whoop whoop! That is a big jump.
Well, do tell me, what part of the UK are you in right now?
I am in Kent. That's an English county. Sort of, if you looked at the UK, it's like the little foot that is really near to France.
All right. And
Yes.
which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Oh, I'm still wondering, Engel. No, the thing I do most on the internet, which is probably responsible for us meeting, is I help people learn languages.
That's great. Who did you learn that from? Like, even other languages? Tell me, how many languages do you know?
I am relatively fluent, I would say, my native language is German. I am fluent in English, and I credit everybody I've ever met, of course, who spoke English to me. But I had a school teacher who I adored, who really, really just brought passion for literature and told you things that, that they're not about school textbooks. We were talking about what is life really like in America, what is life really like in England. And for me, I'm from a tiny village in Germany, and it was just like, there's this new world out there. It was cool. I speak French, I speak Welsh, and then I've got lots of languages where I am medium, like Spanish and Italian, and I am really bad in Russian.
Well, I was listening to your podcast, and one of the things you were talking about is immersing yourself into the place where the language is spoken, right? And of course, you were sharing on how to do that and tips for doing that. Have you done that often, travel to expand on your language?
This is an interesting question. I do that, especially with learning the Welsh language. Now, Welsh is a language of the United Kingdom, so all I have to do really is go to Wales, which is 5-8 hours of travel at the most. So it's quite doable. You have to find it. It's a very small community of Welsh speakers. You kind of have to go find them. But I have done that as practice, and I volunteer at festivals, for example, or I go to concerts where I know there will be a lot of Welsh. I have never done a big trip. And what my podcast, the episode you were referring to, was interesting. I talked about designing your immersion day when you're not traveling. All the things you can do at home to get creative and switch your environment into your target language.
Which was beautiful. And I mean, one of the tips was YouTube, which is like, yeah, oh yes. Oh, I scratched my head. I was like, oh yeah, YouTube, it's there. So why will you continue to repeat this skill? What is the love you found in doing what you do through language?
Language learning, I believe, can completely, to be honest, if I'm really, really somewhere deep in my heart, I believe languages will bring us all world peace. So I believe that the more we understand each other's viewpoints as humans, the more we learn to see the world from how a different person looks at it, even if you only do it once. And that changes how you think. That changes the level of empathy that you have. And our modern world is better when people have empathy and understanding for each other. Learning a language trains you in exactly that. It trains you in how another person, how another group, how another culture sees the world, how things are just a bit different in another place. And that's so wonderful. Plus, it makes every individual feel great who's learning a language.
I love that. Now, the name of your podcast is The Fluent Show. Who came up with the name for the show?
I did!
Love it. Love
For many
it.
years, it had a different name, you know?
It's
And
play on
when
words.
when I said the old name to people, I could tell the attention, you know, people were excited. They met me. I said, hey, I've got a podcast. And they say, what's it called? And I would say, the Creative Language Learning Podcast. And you could just see the excitement going away. So I thought, no, I need a cool name. I need to be cool. So yes, last year I changed the name to The Fluent Show, and I really like the energy and the sound of it.
Yeah. I love the art as well. The colors that you used to represent that. Yeah. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Besides podcasting and learning languages, you
Yeah,
mean?
please. Yeah.
Zumba.
Ooh, how does that make you
Yeah.
feel?
Oh my God, I love Zumba. It makes me very, very happy. I think, you know, I'm a 35-year-old woman right now talking to you, and it's not really so common anymore for a 35-year-old woman to go out dancing. But when I was 18, 20, 22, I loved going out dancing. But now I don't really want to go out and get drunk and be with all the, you know, party people and all that stuff and do it at 2 a.m. But I still love dancing, and I love different rhythms. And I think Zumba makes this, you know, it puts you in a room where people are dancing and they are happy. So it makes me feel very happy. I love it.
Why would you suggest someone else that is listening do something like that to ensure that they're creating happiness in a safe environment, if you would?
Well, you've just said it really well, because it makes you happy, and it's in an environment that you choose. So the reason in particular I would recommend exercise, dancing, is because it's like scientifically proven to make you happy. It can give you a little bit of energy. It doesn't take that long, and you get to connect with other people. So it's just a wonderful thing to be doing. And I know it's worldwide is Zumba. And I've done Zumba in California. I've done Zumba in Germany. You know, you can find a local class usually where you are, and it's not crazy expensive.
I love it. Well, amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Kerstin Cable. She is the podcast host of Now the Fluent Show, right? So I said Now the Fluent Show, but it's not Now the Fluent Show. So let me say that again. She's the podcast host of The Fluent Show, because you've worked so hard on changing that name, right? So how dare I add another word in there? Well, Kerstin, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you now into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Kerstin, what is your earliest childhood memory?
I was thinking about this. I'm not entirely sure if this is the earliest childhood memory, but I think it's one of the strongest. And it's the story I tell everybody. I tell you, my parents are winemakers, you see. So when I was a child, we would go into the vineyard, because childcare was essentially everybody goes to the vineyard. We have to work now. And when we were really little, my brother and I, we wouldn't really work in the vineyard. We'd just play. So my grandmother, my late grandmother, when I was little, she used to teach me and show me how I could make a little pretty garden out of the things that are just on the floor in a vineyard, which in Germany, in a German vineyard, it means slate stones. So you build your wall out of slate stones, and your plants can be like little leaves from the vines and things like that. And maybe it bears fruit and things like that. And I was just building little gardens. And my brother and I would find some snails, because there's different animals as well in the vineyards. So we'd find some snails and just race them against each other.
So the snails were like the walls? Were that?
No, the slate. So slate is a type of stone, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Those were the walls.
Those were the walls.
Okay. And then
And snail racing was just sort of in the little, I don't
oh, it
know,
was
in the
part of
little
the
village that we
activities. Okay.
Yes.
That's intriguing. Wow. So how old were you?
I don't know, 4 or 5 maybe.
Why do you think this memory is so clear?
I think we did it many times because I think we spent a lot of time in the vineyards as little kids, and it stands out to me as my grandmother taking the time and kind of teaching me. Like, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother growing up because we all lived in one house, so my grandma, my parents, and my brother and me. But a lot of the time she tried to get me to do things that I didn't enjoy doing, especially later, sort of woman things, like textile work. And I was really bad at it and didn't want to do it. But this vineyard garden building, I was into it. So I think it was because we were both having fun.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
I'm a fairly creative person, I think. And it has this quality of making something out of not very much and seeing things, having a vision for something. And I would say that's something I bring into my work now. Probably.
Can
A
I?
deep question.
Thank you. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Oh, sure.
I love, you spoke about Zumba, and you were talking about how that is the thing that you've found, and I'll use the word hack, right? A hack around you still having the enjoyment that you loved through dancing without the other aspects of it. So it's as though you created from the bigness, if you would, the largeness of what is that, and then you created that smaller model, which is Zumba. And it's really parallel for me in the imagery where your grandmother did that as well, right? Where the big garden is there, but then she showed you the way to create a smaller garden. And I just love the fact that they both are you ensuring that you're having fun doing the thing you love doing and finding a way to ensure you maximize that thing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah, I think in my family, we're quite good at making something out of not that much.
Which is
Even
beautiful.
Yeah, like I didn't grow up particularly poor, but I certainly grew up resourceful. My grandma lived through the Second World War, and I think that makes you resourceful.
If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
It's too embarrassing. I'm from Germany. It was the 90s. I really loved. Okay, I'll tell you one. This is before I became cool and started listening to indie music. So this is like my last uncool year, maybe. I don't know. What did I like? I've always loved music. So I liked a lot of music. I think I really liked All That She Wants by Ace of Base.
That's cool. Isn't it? Didn't you think
not
it's
the most embarrassing?
But don't you think it's cool though? Like, I mean, the entire interpretation of the thought picture, and then you say, all that she wants, and yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Do you see the connection?
Oh, there is a little bit of a connection, perhaps.
Well, yeah, it's all that she wants, right? And we're speaking about Kerstin here. And just to play on words, she moved from the party girl to the Zumba girl. And she moved her podcast from, what was it, the Creative Language podcast show to the Flow.
See, that was the problem with the name. It's called the Creative Language Learning Podcast. Because that's what it's about. It's about how to learn languages in a more creative way.
Yeah, to the Fluent Show. Yeah.
Fluent Show.
Yeah. Pretty cool. And it may soon be Fluent Show.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form, so it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Okay.
Kerstin, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
The whole world.
Are you married?
If I can. Yes.
Do you have children?
I don't.
Do you believe in God?
That's not a question I can answer in yes or no.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
I think so.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
I don't.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes, definitely.
What about screen time? The phone and or the computer, is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, too much for sure.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Kerstin Cable, what would you say that is?
I don't know. I saw this as a question, but I found this really difficult. So I don't know. What I can tell you, one of my mottos for this year.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, good enough is good enough. Because sometimes I can be a perfectionist, or I just don't feel like whatever I do is good enough. So, but if I look at it and I say, that's good enough, then I can say, that is good enough.
It's all she
Anyone
wants.
who feels the same way will understand.
Yeah, it's intriguing. I was absorbing what you said. Well, Kerstin, this is a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
If anybody wants to learn a language and wants to do it differently and learn cool ideas for how to do it, then I would love to invite you to come and have a listen to my podcast. We've got an archive of currently of 120 episodes, so you're pretty certain to find something. And the website is fluent.show.
Love it. Kerstin Cable, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazel Enterprise.